Right.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not English.
Yes, sure. No, that was
hectic.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't won there since something like 2006 or 2007 or something.
Yes,
but then they have to do it on in that fashion.
Look, while I was watching it, it was weird. It becomes more and more difficult. I'm not going to talk about Bulls rugby and stuff, but to pinpoint the issues, to know exactly.
Yeah, because especially when you play a team like the current French team.
Yeah.
It's sort of like they score tries out of what? How did they do that? You know.
The scoreline was horrific, but the way they played, in parts, looked okay.
Yeah.
It's just, and we've been stuck on that. It's just like a lack of confidence, a lack of belief. They don't know. I'm not sure if the plan is clicking. Borthwick's been saying that Eddie Jones messed up so badly that he's trying to fix it and he can't fix it yet. It's going to be a process. We've seen that sometimes with coaches, that it takes a while to get into the thing and then they start performing.
But I mean, it's England. They should be half decent.
It's a team that's won the World Cup and they've played in the final twice.
Yeah. I mean, if we think about now, when we were at our low in 2016, 2017, and then Rassie taking over in 2018, at least we didn't get smashed.
No.
You know, under Rassie, the new era.
No, that was bad.
Something is seriously wrong there.
Yeah, it seemed like they pass well, sort of in front of the defence, but there's none of that penetration. Yeah. And then a mistake comes, and then France is absolutely ruthless on those mistakes. They just score on the counter attack.
No problem.
By making it look easy.
Yes, Ramos had an amazing game.
Yes.
But he scored 23 points.
Yeah, and Damien Penaud was so good, and Aldrit.
And Dupont,
and they just looked amazing all across the field, and they just feed off. But they are such a confidence team.
Yeah.
If their tails are up, they're extremely dangerous. On a day that they look a bit planless and the game plan's not working, then they look average. And
like against Italy.
Those are the things that France would want to work on. They want more of this. And less of those sort of
and the weather. Games. The weather was so bad, but they were scoring tries.
Yes, it was the guys were dirty. Then England could keep the ball for 5-6 phases, and then there's a bad pass, and that bad pass leads to a try.
Yeah.
So I just said France were very clinical, especially on the counter attack, and to make all those passes stick, and that's that's the scary part about Scotland, France, Ireland is the mistakes. They don't make a lot of mistakes.
They don't make many mistakes.
Yeah. Okay. There's not much more to say about that. That was at Twickenham. Was that a record score?
It's a record score, and I think we
53-10.
I think we need to consider: is England going to be a factor? They'll always be a factor. I would never go into a World Cup game against them thinking, we're just going to walk them.
Yeah.
But if you think, who are they with? They're in the same pool as Argentina and Japan or something like that.
Yeah.
I would, if I was Argentina, I would be looking at that fixture against England.
Yeah.
Thinking we can do this. We can end top of our pool.
But this whole thing's like a damn soapy. I mean, it's becoming like soccer. In soccer, you see a guy has 5-6 bad games, and then he gets fired, and then they bring a new guy in.
I think they should have just stuck with Eddie.
Yeah, and this whole Gatland and Eddie Jones and Dave Rennie, we've said it so many times. Did he really do such a bad job? Deserved to be fired, and then Eddie Jones, who had a bad run at England, then he gets brought in.
Watch Australia win the World Cup. They've got who do they have to play against?
Yes, I'm not even sure about that. I don't have that.
I sent it to you guys. I can't remember, but their pool is not.
Oh yeah, we spoke
tough.
about it.
I think it's like Fiji.
Yeah, it's not that tough.
And something else in Wales.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the Scotland-Ireland game. It was 22-7 in the end. First half-time score was 7-8.
Yeah, it definitely flatters. I think Ireland played really well. They are just class. Their class shone through in the end. But I thought Scotland played admirably, and I think they'll be bleak with that result. Not the loss, as in that scoreline.
Yeah, it's difficult to sort of know. The only thing that I can think that made the game change so quickly from an amazing first half of rugby as a neutral, really a great watch for a fairly low score. It was just the way that they find space.
The attack, Scotland's attack is scary.
The commentators also said that they've got a very similar style in where the space is close to the tackle. Obviously your defence has to be spread across the whole field, and they try and find space close to the tackle, and the benefit from that is if you start pulling the defence in, then you go wide, like the Mac Hansen try that Ireland scored. So it was very similar, and Tui Pelotu, you need two guys to bring him down, and you've got a Hugh Jones on his shoulder for a short pass. There is space right next to that tackle, and that's how they scored that first try, which was extremely well worked through the phases without mistakes. And that's how, what you didn't see with England, they keep attacking that area around the rucks, around the tackle, and they just make meters, England and Scotland, without making mistakes. And that's what scares me from the Springboks having to play both those teams, is when we start off with the season, we always make a lot of mistakes. And there are a lot of tries that we don't score that we should have scored. And if that happens in the World Cup, and these Oaks build through 15 phases with rucks that are cleared in a second, we're going to battle. And then our defence is disorganised. It all depends on if we can put our best guys out on the field. But I'm worried.
Yeah, I mean, the commentators were talking about our pool.
Yeah, they spoke about it all the time.
All the time they said, yes, this is the pool of death.
Yes.
How did we get here?
Yeah, Yeah, and it's been in the news that they shouldn't decide the pool so early. Or the pool should be decided more on who the forces are in World Rugby instead of just rankings at the time.
That's difficult.
It's very difficult, but now you've got all the best teams are on the same side of the pool.
Yeah.
So
and some teams appear to have an easy run into the quarters, you know.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to say about that first half, apart from it being like amazing, is if Scotland had scored at the end of the first half when they were on the try line there, it might have been a different. I think Ireland still has they're like such a classy team that they could still have won, no problem.
Yeah.
But that was a telling moment for
Scotland. It would have
Scotland.
put them under a different kind of pressure.
Yeah.
It would have made them try things that they wouldn't normally do. You lose a little bit of patience, and you go wide a little bit earlier, or you rather kick or something like that. And the only time we saw a few mistakes from Ireland was at the start of the second half. They were a little bit impatient.
Yeah.
There were a few knock-ons, but then from Scotland as well. And then as the game settled, it just seemed as if Scotland ran out of steam. When Pierre Schoeman went off, when Fagerson went off, and they brought on the two new props. The commentators also said,
but there were three props in the Irish scrum.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Because Josh van der Fleer was doing the friggin' line out.
I don't know who Kelleher, if he was the hooker. But I don't know why Van der Fleer was doing the lineouts. Maybe there was an issue with,
because their scrum became insane. Then the Irish were just scrumming the poo into them.
Yeah, that was interesting. But it also shows a thinking out of the box mentality. If things don't work, you go towards a skillful player like Josh van der Fleer, who can do many different things.
Seems he can do everything. Next he's going to be.
He missed a lineout that I saw, and the rest of them were pretty good.
Yeah, well, it was like at the end of the game he started missing the lineouts, you know.
Yeah, no, then those Scottish props were taken off at about 53 minutes, and then it just seemed as if
they lost impact a little bit.
Yeah, and they couldn't keep up that pace.
Yeah.
You have to be supremely fit to carry on with clearing the ruck so quickly. Like, we make it slow. Some of our guys are big. We can't play at that pace, the Springboks.
And I do think that Ireland kicked up a gear as well.
Yes.
They showed their class then.
And we've been talking about their depth, and they lost Sheehan early on. And
didn't they lose Doris?
Caelan Doris.
Yeah.
Both of them looked quite serious.
But I mean, they got decent.
Yes, and then the guys who came on, it didn't seem like a huge change. Jack Conan, he was a British and Irish Lion. He scored a try.
Scored a great try.
He had a great game.
Yeah.
Lowe scored a great try. Those two tries obviously broke the game.
Yeah.
And it broke the Scottish spirit. Yeah, and just like while I was watching it, I just tried to think how our style of play compares and the All Blacks style of play. So the All Blacks is quite similar, except that they go wide a lot quicker, and they trust their wings to sort of break the first tackles, and then they play back to the middle, and they often score in between that 5 and 15 meter line. They often break the line there, so it's very similar. It's just slightly different, and our play is completely different from what any of those teams do. We can only hope that we can put these teams under enough pressure with our defense that they start making mistakes.
Yeah,
that's what we did end of last year, and it was a very close game. It's a game that we could have won. I don't think we should completely lose hope.
I haven't lost hope.
No.
I haven't lost hope. It's also the Six Nations is different. It's like those teams play differently against us, and we play differently against them as well. As like, I think that we still have a chance.
Yeah.
It is scary though. It is
scary. It's scary. We sort of expect to lose against Ireland, but now we might lose against Scotland because they look so good.
I mean, if you think our last game against Scotland, maybe Scotland wasn't as good as they are now.
Yeah.
But I thought that, I think we won that game by like 15 points or something at Murrayfield.
Still forward power, I still think.
Which is funny enough, the scoreline difference on the weekend as well.
Yes.
I think we're on par with Ireland.
Yes.
It can go either way. I think we can beat them.
Yeah.
And we can lose to them.
Yes.
But Scotland, I think we can beat because we've seen now that like against France as well, they also lost steam.
Yes. No, they did.
That was a crazy game, but anyway.
No, that was absolutely. It just kept
the French Scotland.
As well. Yeah, that was more or less the same thing.
It was both games were actually frantic. It was like a frantic game.
I think that might just be a lack of class. When Piers Skuman does so many carries, gets them over the advantage line so much. When he goes off, it sort of seems a little bit different for Scotland.
Yeah. But Finn Russell, that guy.
Yes, he's got such
good,
vision. Eh?
Like what he started doing, like I was expecting him to keep passing, and he sort of in the second half he started to hold the ball and just take a little bit of a gap here and there.
It's so effortless to find the players that he wants to find.
Yeah, who is doing that? Is it his support that's doing that, or is he that good?
No, he's good.
He's like Jonah Loma Rugby, that rugby challenge game where they can literally offload like 30 meters. No,
he's very good. Everyone is good when there's not that much pressure. When pressure comes, it's different.
Yeah.
What do you think about Conor Murray? Started the game. I thought his box kicks were excellent again. He's kicking out of hand.
Very good, but Gibson Park has a certain energy.
Yeah.
Maybe they've been told to play like that.
Yeah.
But he does seem to be the better player.
He brings a bit more of speed.
Didn't that happened against us as well when we played them? When he came on the park, he sort of added injected the pace, and then they did score those 2 tries that we dispute. But but I think that he might be better. Like I was always a Conor Murray fan since that try he scored against New Zealand in 2016, and the try he scored against for the Lions against New Zealand as well. In the second test, like he's like a bit of a cult classic, hero.
Yeah, he's so precise in what he does.
Yeah,
like I watched his box kicks, the distance he gets, and it's all contestable and stuff. But Gibson Park gives you something completely different. It just seems more accurate, more speed. Yeah.
Something that I noticed, I think the commentators mentioned it as well, is Scotland was sort of attacking Sexton's channel there. And they seem to get a few meters whenever they attacked it.
Yeah, Tuipulotu is key, eh?
Yeah.
He's key to the Scottish play. He gets them, whether he gets them over the advantage line and they play from there, or if there's a possibility of an offload or a short pass, it takes more than one defender to bring him down.
Yeah.
And that obviously creates space through the midfield. And Hugh Jones is a class act. He runs good lines. He's always there to support. So that works very well. The centre pairing works very well, and it's quite a scary
something to maybe consider when we play
with
Ireland.
Finn Russell.
Yeah.
You know, because he can, at the drop of a hat, he can decide that he goes behind one of those guys and he plays it a little bit deeper. And they look for space on the outside. And you've got Duan van der Merwe and Kyle Steyn. I thought Duan van der Merwe just cut inside a little bit too often.
Too much. Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah. He was too predictable.
It's almost,
and he had no space.
Yeah, it's almost as if he's not thinking, let me take the outside channel and create front foot ball for the next phase. It's as if he's thinking, I want to score a miracle try out of nothing.
But maybe it's James Lowe that's defending well there.
Yeah,
I can't believe how big James Lowe is.
Yes, he's
like he looks bigger than Duan. I thought Duan looked like quite a big wing. Isn't he like 110 kilograms? But then James Lowe
must be more or less the same.
It's like the same. I never thought, like watching him in Super Rugby and that.
Yeah.
Never thought of James Lowe as being this big wing.
Yeah, I'll be a little bit worried by losing Ringrose, Sheehan, and Doris.
Who got the knock
all
on his
stretched
head?
Off. Ringrose got stretched off.
Yeah, he hit his head against someone's hip.
Yeah. But then Robbie Henshaw came back on, which would be great for him to have him back. Yeah. But we thought Sexton was going to be out for a while. Last time he went off.
Yeah, but they're nursing him.
Yeah.
There's just like send him. There's probably like a nice oxygen chamber for him to just go sit in.
Ice baths. Do you need an ice bath in Ireland? Just being outside
just
is
be
an
outside.
ice bath.
Yeah.
And then it was a fairly close game of Wales, Italy.
Yeah, but then it ended up. Yeah, it was like
17.
29-17.
Yeah.
And we were saying just now about their coach, the Italian coach, who's pulling a bit of a Rassi there, except like directly to the press.
Yes.
It wasn't leaked.
Yeah. And he's upset with the ref.
He's upset with the ref, the penalty count and no warnings, and he was upset that the Italians didn't get a penalty try because there was the fly off from the Welsh fly off was offsides.
Yeah.
And then apparently the Welsh got a penalty try on the other end, like it's shortly after that.
He reckons the ref was a bit biased.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
haven't heard of rant like that in quite a while, but I mean, keeps the ref on
except when I watch our sports stats videos.
Yes.
Then if ever I want to go see a nice ref rant, then I go watch our videos.
I still think the current refs are below par, but the weekend's games I thought were officiated very good because we're not talking about the refs, we're talking about
I thought the Englishman was good on Saturday.
Yeah, he was
yesterday, sorry,
he was
the Irish
good.
game. And who was the ref for the French game? I can't remember.
Don't even know, and that's a good thing.
That is actually a very good thing.
That we don't know who it was.
Yeah, I can't remember anything.
It wasn't Nika
controversial.
Amashukeli.
No, it wasn't.
Definitely not.
Yeah, that's. That guy. Anyway.
Okay, but a great weekend of rugby.
Six Nations, yeah.
Right. I think that's it.
Yeah, cheers.
I'm drinking on my own.